Hello everyone, welcome back to another session with me. This is Sanyukta Saxena and furthering our journey on the Ghost Tangles Series. Thank you for all your comments, suggestions, feedback. I'm really humbled. Thank you. And we are going to be furthering our journey today. I again have a Zendala tile in front of me, starting with my Micron 01. And we are going to start with a tangle called MARASU, or you can also call it as barber pole, or a tangle called BTL juice. They are very close tangles with very few variations, very less difference between each other, so kind of overlapping. I've started with a border, a very close border, close to the edges, and now I'm adding one more. You can add these beautiful curls in between, just the way we do for a tangle called BTL juice. Yes, and I'm adding the aura going around. Take your time, and I'm done with the exercise. Yes, and then just like we do for Marasu, you can either add 2 lines, you can add 3 lines. I'm adding 3 lines. I'm dividing this entire section. This band that we created into further sections. Adding 3 lines. Slowly, take your time. Go around. As I mentioned, this tangle is called BTL juice, but it's very close to a tangle called barber pole, or you can even call it an extension of the tangle Marasu. Once you have knowledge of a considerable number of tangles, then you would realize that there are quite a few overlaps, and somehow there are tangles which kind of share the same characteristic and can be very well can transition very easily from one to the other. Yes, so going ahead and adding those dividing lines, 3 of them, and now I'm going to probably pick up a bolder nib like an 08 or a graphic 1, whatever you have readily available, and ink alternate sections. You can also ink all. That's entirely your choice. If you ink all, then it's like the tangle barber pole. If you are alternatively inking sections, then it's more like BTL juice or Marasu. Yes, so very fine differences there. So I feel like inking alternate spaces. I'm using a bolder nib here so that it's faster, but you need to be cautious. Stay within the lines. It has a broad big nib, so if you're not comfortable doing small spaces with very broad nib, then you can always go back, use your PN or 1, whatever you are comfortable with. Yes, so I'm going to continue like this. Please take your own time, color at your own pace, make sure you ink it nicely and there are no white spaces left in between. Yes, I will be back in a jiffy. So I'm now on the last section, done inking. my BTL juice. These sections, if you want, you can just add ink here to highlight them. It's an option, you may not do it. You can leave it as such if you want. Yes, done with that. Now let us move on to another tangle, which is called NARWAL. First I'm going to draw these stripes, something like we draw for the tangle perk. I'm going to draw a triangular shape for reference. You can do without it, but just in case you're not comfortable drawing your narwhal directly, then you can draw a triangle for the sake of reference, so that you stay somewhere in and around that triangle. Yes, so I have divided it into sections through this band, and then I'm going to add further sections. Yes, so one, and then connect like this. So one section, and then probably you can add one more thin section and then connect like this. One section, another section, and then connect like this. Yes, so I'm going slowly so that you can understand how to draw the tangle like this, and then 1, 2, and then 3, and drawing behind here. Now if you want to highlight this band from where you started, then you can ink it with a highlight, something like this. Yes, so I'm going to do that for all. Slowly, take your time. Basically it starts to look like a ribbon, the slanting lines that we started with, something similar to the way we start our perk, just that the shapes are a little different here. You can also add some orbs here, just the way you do in perk, if you don't feel like adding inking. Yes, so that's one. So let us add one or two more. So I'm going to add one smaller one and then probably add some ghost tangles. So again, start with these bands. I'm showing once again how to draw this tangle, narwhal, slanting lines. Yes, so this one is a little smaller, so like this, and I'm going to add orbs this time inside this band that we started with. You can add any tangle of your choice. You can add simple lines there just to highlight them a little more and then connect. Yes, so 1, 2, you can add more also, and then connect. 1, 2, and then connect. 1, 2, and then connect. And then you can add some simple layers there like this. Yes, so there are two narwhals. Now let's add a few DIVADANCE rock and rolls. So I have started with a spiral, going back, adding some inking, and continuing to add close aura, but going back and adding some extra ink here and there as I aura, adding these humps or bumps, whatever you want to call it. Make sure you aura closely. Go back, add these nice humps wherever you feel like. Go ahead. Continue to add aura. Since it is drawing behind, I'm going to continue here. Fill up this space with auras like this. Add one or two more layers. You can make it as big or as small as you wish. Yes. And again, close aura. Take your time. And probably the last aura here. Yes, that's one. Let us add one more. So I'm going to start somewhere here with a spiral. Go back, add some extra ink. Again, go back, add some extra ink. The aura has to be close enough. Then only you will get this look. You will get a different look if the auras are not close enough. Nothing is right or wrong. It's just the way you want to draw this tangle. Close auras and some extra ink is all I am doing as I draw this beautiful tangle. Yes, go ahead. So that's two, and probably you can add one more here, or you can just add simple ones like this, which has kind of opened up from the roll. Adding that extra ink and then joining it here. Again, add some ink. So this is the opened up version, which is the waltz version. Yes, take your time. It's a beautiful aura based tangle. All that I'm doing is adding some extra ink and adding auras. That's about it. Nothing else. Yes. So I have completed drawing my DIVADANCE, this version, the straight waltz version, right? So now I have picked up my jelly roll gray, and I'm going to use this today to create that kind of an effect and extending the same tangle further. So let's get started and draw some more of this DIVADANCE rock and roll version. Yes, so we are exploring different mediums during this series, so let's try the jelly roll also. We have already tried our pencil, we have tried the Micron gray. Yes, and today I'm trying the jelly roll gray, extending the same rock and roll version a little more, adding a few more with my jelly roll. Ensure that you add close auras, adding humps in between. So you have to keep a little distance from your black because jelly roll otherwise will cover up your black. So be careful, adding a few more layers with my jelly roll today to add the same kind of an effect. Yes, so that's one more. Now we can use a background tangle. So we have started with tipple, so I'm going to continue with tipple only. Yes, so let's add a few more tipple with our pen, and then we can gradually move to our jelly roll. Yes, so I'm going to add some big ones to start with. You can add any tangle of your choice. As I keep saying in all my sessions, this is something that is coming to my mind at this point of time. Choose your own tangles, use the idea, make it your own, create your own. Yes. So I have started to add some more tipples. Make sure you squeeze them together. They should be tightly packed like this. Yes, and I'm going to do the same go a little higher up with my tipples. So what I'm going to do here is, as I move further up, I'm going to switch to my jelly roll and kind of fade away the tipples. Yes. So slowly, take your time. You can add big ones, you can add small ones, you can add all of the same size. That's perfectly fine. Yes. So I have drawn till here. Now let us move on to our jelly roll and add some more. Yes, so now I am going to add with my jelly roll. Take your time. So jelly rolls can be a little tricky to work with at times, so keep a paper handy so that if it is not working, the gel is not flowing, just run it on a piece of paper and you are good to go. Yes. So we have now moved to jelly roll. I am now starting to diminish the size. Kind of making them tiny, smaller, like this. Very small. Yes. And then you can add any tangle of your choice. So let's see. Let's see what do we want to add there. So this space, again we can use a ghost tangle. You can use the same tangle in fact. So try drawing the same tangle here. Something like this with your jelly roll. So it becomes a background ghost tangle. Yes. Something like this. and then you have to kind of color these sections. The spaces are small, so you have to be patient. As I mentioned, I have a nib 10 jelly roll, so I have to be more careful. Something like this in the background. Yes, I'm going to add one more narwhal here before I add a filler tangle and close my tangling. So jelly roll takes a little while to dry up, so make sure you don't put your hands immediately after tangling. So you need to be a little careful. So again, started to add the further layers. This is some delicate tangling. Yeah. So I think we have the background in place. Now the rest of the space you can use a filler tangle, any tangle of your choice. So I extended my tipples a little more higher up here, and I realized that I almost kind of make a heart shape here, something like this. So I thought, why not use it? Yes. So as I was extending my jelly roll higher up till this place, so I realized it's a beautiful shape forming here. So let's fill up this space with tipple. I'm using my Micron 01. Yes. Why? Because this is already in gray, so I'm using black for filling up the empty space here. And you can see it's a beautiful heart shape that is formed here. Yes, you can use it for your tile, and we can leave the rest of the space the way it is, or you can add any other background tangle, for example very fine auras, printums, something like this. And I'm using my pencil for it. Again, you can use your pen also. So I'm just filling up the in-between space with very fine. You can use your jelly roll also. So now you know a couple of ways how to create that kind of an effect. When you are using the pencil, you have to be little careful that you don't use much pressure. So it has to be light pressure. Just filling up the background. That's about it. Yes, so that's our tangling part. Let us now get to shading. So as far as shading your narwhal is concerned, you can shade on one side and under these bands. Make sure your pencil is sharp enough. It's a beautiful tangle to shade, provides great shading opportunity. So take your time, adding graphite on one side and under the bands. Not too much because spaces are small. Yes, so let's first blend this. You don't want entire thing gray, so just take it to about half. You may want to highlight the rest, something like this. Yes, again spaces are small, You might want to use the tip of your stub. Like this, just touching on the gray ones so that they are visible. Separately. Yes, so I'm just adding a slight touch, not much. So they are kind of disappearing ones. Going next to the Diva Dance. Shade the overlap always. You can highlight the other half. I'm shading one half, making it dark, and we can highlight the other half. Gives a nice high and low effect to your rock and rolls. Shading the ends. You can shade the dips. Slight touches, not much. Spaces are small, so don't add too much. Yes. And then the tipples, yes, you can add to the bigger ones. Just adding some touches to the bigger ones. For the smaller ones, what is already there on your stub may be sufficient. Yes, small ones, just highlighting them a little, and then moving to our PTL juice. Take your time. Adding shade to the white section. You don't really require to shade. Add graphite on the blacks, and I will also add on the other side. So you have to add very less because you want to highlight in the center. Yes, so add less and blend less. Slowly go around, rotate your tile. Don't move your hands much once it's there in its comfort position. Just move your tile. So I'm blending both sides, but I'm making sure I leave a center white, yes, white patch, which acts as the highlight. And it's important because it will give it a third dimension. Yes. So shading adds dimension, shading adds contrast, shading adds depth. So give it that time that it deserves. Don't haste up. Yes. So what I'm going to do here is probably, if you want, you can add some color here. Yes, it's entirely your choice. I'm not adding color. You can add some bold color here. I'm just adding one more aura, like this. Yes, and then I'm going to blend it. Keep the edges a little darker. Leave a little white here. Something like this. Yeah, so that's all I'm going to do here. Yeah, if you want to redo some of the lines, yes, of course you can do that. Since you have added the jelly roll, you might want to revisit some of the lines. Yeah, although I don't see a need, it's fine. Just a few places, all that we need. So that's our tile for today. Highlights, yes, you can do that. For example, you can add some highlight here, you can add some highlight here. Make sure you use a different stump to soften it. You can highlight the other side of your diva dance. As I mentioned, you can do this only if you restrict the graphite to half, so it's important that you shade only as much as is required, so you get the opportunity to highlight. Yes, so they pop up immediately. Yes, use chalk on BTL juice also, and that's about it. Some depth. As I mentioned, the jelly roll makes some of the lines a little hazy, and you can add some depth here. That's about it. So I'm going to close my tile here. Yes, some bit of ghost tangling. So write your name somewhere. Shop, in fact. I'm writing my name. Sign and date your tile. I shall see you again with some more sessions. Yes, so today we used our grey jelly roll pen. We also used some bit of pencil to create some backgrounds. I shall see you again with some more sessions on Ghost Tangles. Till then, have a good time. Bye bye.